milestones or you got some in computer and that way.
Hello and welcome to yet another video, today with really great news. The next expansion for Terraforming Mars on Steam is on the horizon. This short atmospheric trailer just dropped yesterday, and although it's not quite obvious at first, it announces the release of Hellas and Elysium in the near future. The Steam page of Terraforming Mars was already updated with a new post, explaining what we can expect and stating that the beta test is available for whoever wants to try out the expansion prior to its release. And judging on the amount of bugs that are already in the game, I highly recommend that as many people as possible go participate. But let's have a look at that Steam post. It's titled Hellas and Elysium DLC, coming soon. And after a short introduction presents the two new maps, Hellas, the Southern Wild, and Elysium, the other side of Mars. Of course, everyone who's already played with the expansion, either in real life, through the web app, or through Tabletop Simulator, will probably know these two maps already. But for everyone else, these are two brand new maps that come with a new structure of oceans and placement bonuses, some new features, and of course a whole new set of milestones and awards. But how do these new maps play? In general, early game ocean placements were nerfed on these boards. There are no 2-card ocean spots and also only a few good mineral placement bonuses. However, once a few oceans have been placed already, you can often get some good rebates, as these maps often allow you to place oceans next to 2, 3 or even more other oceans. Hellas also has a special tile, the South Pole, that when you place a tile on it allows you to pay 6 MC extra to place an additional ocean. That's really good value compared to the standard project or even most cards. The other new feature on this map are the heat placement bonuses, that I actually think are quite underwhelming. Speaking about placement bonuses, Elysium introduces the most overpowered one yet. Olympus Mons offers a 3-card non-ocean tile placement bonus. Of course, it's quite inconvenient to be placed, especially for a city, but cards like Nuke Zone or Natural Preserve suddenly become must picks if this tile hasn't been claimed already. And I also often see people picking otherwise underwhelming city preludes just to secure a spot. Other than that, Elysium offers some great plant spots around the equator. Small trivia, as Elysium depicts the other side of Mars, its board layout has been flipped in the physical version of the game. But sadly, judging from the screenshots in the Steam post, this isn't the case in the upcoming beta. But maybe this will be changed for the final release. And lastly, let's talk about the new milestones and awards. Hellas comes with Diversifier, which requires you to play 8 different tags, Tactician, for which you need to play 5 cards with any requirement, Polar Explorer demanding 3 tiles placed in the bottom 2 rows of the board, Energizer, for which you need 6 Power Prod, and Rim Settler, which you can claim once you have 3 Jovian tags. Polar Explorer and Rim Settler are quite volatile. You can get really lucky and claim these in the first gen no problem. Imagine Saturn systems with IO Research Outpost and Asteroid Mining. But there are also some rounds where no one ever goes for these. Tactician and Diversifier are in my opinion quite well balanced. However, Energizer can also be claimed quite fast with the right setup. Quantum Extractor or Mass Converter can get you there almost instantly, but of course these cards are not easy to get down. At least this milestone finally is a small buff to Thorgate, a corp which is quite underwhelming in the base game. The awards include Cultivator, which will be won by whoever plays the most greeneries, Magnate, for which you need to play as many green cards as possible, Space Baron and Contractor, which go to the player with the most space or building tags respectively, and lastly Eccentric, which is won by whoever collected the most card resources. Cultivator is quite similar to Landlord in the base game, as most of the time that one went to the player who plays the most greeneries anyways. Magnate kinda just rewards the player with the best engine, while Space Baron and Contractor are really nothing special. They were just a scientist in the base game. Eccentric though is quite interesting, as it is also a small buff to low payoff resource collecting cards, which most of the time means microbes. On Elysium we have Generalist that can be claimed whenever you have 1 resource production of every type, Specialist, which requires you to have 10 resource prod of a single type, Ecologist, which requires you to have 4 green tags, Tycoon, for which you need to play 15 green or blue cards, and Legend. That one you can fund once you have played 5 events. This set of milestones is quite interesting, as it includes two pairs of exact opposites. Generalist, which by the way is really easy for Robinson Industries, is the exact opposite of Specialist. The latter probably requires some help from preludes and most of the time goes to a player with 10 MC prod. And then Tycoon and Legend are opposites, not only in card types but also in playstyles. It is extremely rare to see someone claiming both of these in a single game. Ecologist, similarly to Rim Settler on Hellas, is extremely luck-based in my opinion, and your Corp and Preludes can almost get you there already in some cases. For awards, we have Celebrity, which goes to the player with the most non-event cards with base costs over 20, Industrialist, which counts your steel and energy resources, Desert Settler, which goes to the player with the most tiles in the bottom 4 rows of the map, Estate Dealer, for which you want as many tiles adjacent to oceans as possible, and Benefactor, which simply goes to the player that has the highest terraforming rating. Celebrity seems to be made for Credit Core. However, remember that players are already hesitant to pass you cards with high base costs, as this Corp, so it's not as easy as you might think. Industrialist is very similar to Miner in the base game, and Benefactor is also really straightforward. For the former, just remember that there is another round of production before the award is evaluated, which is especially important for power. Desert Settler and Estate Dealer are really interesting, as at first glance you might think, well, this is not well balanced, both favor ground game corps heavily, but then you notice that there are only 2 tiles on the entire map that count for both awards, so they don't really synergize that well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this small update video, and in case you didn't know this expansion yet, I hope you were able to get the gist of it in my short introduction. I'm actually really excited for this new DLC and I will definitely play some games in the beta. I hope you enjoyed my video on the upcoming expansion, and if you did, please leave a like and consider subscribing. See you in the next one.